All right, what is up, everybody, and how are you doing today? I didn't do too many videos last week. I was just way too tied up with some other things. It just, after being out of town and coming back, was kind of like still hungover from my trip. You know how sometimes you need a vacation from a vacation, but that with all the workload and everything, every time I would try to get everything ready and start to record a video, it would be like way too late in the day, and I'd say, okay, I'm gonna knock one out tomorrow, and then it just never really happened. So I think I only got like one video out last week, which is probably the least amount of videos I've recorded in like 2.5 years. But I figured I'd come back and start on a Monday with a good video here. I'm gonna do this as like kind of a little bit of a combo action. I've got Speakeasy just launched, so why don't I just like lay out that protocol really quick. It's gonna be pretty easy for you to understand if you were in the previous Speakeasy. And if you guys know Kirk's awesome, total staff food dev, great project owner. Him and I have done AMAs together. The last project was profitable for me. Eventually it ran its course, and now he started over with a new project. Really similar kind of tokenomics, similar setup, but he's utilizing the drinks token rather than BNB. So pretty cool. Drinks token has, I think, 14x since it launched. So I think that's fantastic because you also have the speculative play in that if that bad boy goes up, then you can make some extra money. So I'll quickly cover this project, not like a full tutorial. I'll go through and talk about when I got in, what my strategy is for this so far, and then I'll hit some other projects because a few things have changed since last week. But Speakeasy. So if you were in the first Speakeasy, you knew it's kind of like a drink-based theme, right? Prohibition era bars were called Speakeasies, and so it's all just around that kind of drink theme. Now, he came up with the drinks token, but it works kind of the same. You're basically going to purchase the drinks token just like you would, normally with BNB, and then you'll throw it in the system. Now, if you were in the first Speakeasy and you had a membership key card to the Speakeasy, so an MKC NFT, that's going to boost your daily rewards to a base rate of 0.25%. So if you're in the old one, it definitely is a no-brainer to get into this one. Now, holding one of those MKC NFTs is going to allow you to buy one of these drinks cocktail NFTs, and that's going to give you an additional boost. So you can get additional 0.3%, 0.6%, 0.9%, or 0.8% with a wild card. So you would come up here, click on NFTs. I think it would take you over to this page. You're going to choose what NFT you want to mint. You can make that decision. I personally minted the wildcard NFT, so came down here 100. I improved the amount, and I actually already own this. So that's what boosted me up to a total of 1.95%. So this is my daily bonus. It works exactly the same. So if you don't have any drinks tokens yet, because I actually bought these as a speculative play earlier on, so I already had the drinks tokens to be able to stake in here. But what you want to do is come over here and you can exchange them. So if you've got USDT in your wallet, and you can come up here, approve the amount you're willing to spend on drinks tokens. So whether 500,000, that'd be 148.13 in USDT. So you just need to figure out how much you want to stake, and just look at this dollar amount down here. Once you've approved it, then it will allow you to purchase it. Those will be sitting in your wallet, and you're able to come over here and stake those tokens. It's got the same exact timer as the old one had. So it shows me, because I got in right at launch, or pretty close, within like an hour, hour and a half. Shows me that I've got 28% basically through the hours I need to. I got to wait until 168 hours before clock runs out, and then I can cash out or redeposit, which is basically just let it ride. So I've got some additional tokens. I think that once I staked those first tokens, it started the clock, and I don't think I can do anything until that timer runs out, that full 168 hours. So when that runs out, I'm probably gonna let it ride, and I'm gonna add all the drinks tokens I have left, because I have quite a bit left. So that was probably a mistake on my part. I would more than likely, if you're gonna get all your drinks tokens, just put them in at one time. I segmented it out, so just be aware of that. But basically, every 168 hours, I'm gonna come in here and either claim or let it ride. Last time on the first Speakeasy, I let it ride a few times because I got a little additional bonus here before I started claiming. And so for me on this one, I don't know for sure. The next one, I'm definitely gonna let it ride and redeposit the new tokens. So that would be a pretty good chunk. So what I will probably do is, of course, let it ride, deposit those, and then I will claim the next week and probably the next couple weeks. Just to make sure that I'm getting my ROI back. None of this is financial advice, of course. You make your own decisions with your own money. Everything in DeFi is risky, and every investment you'll ever make has an element of risk. So just be aware of that. But if I could give advice, it's if you do invest in things, make sure that you've got a profit-taking strategy, because as a general rule, things don't last forever. So when you're up, I definitely you should pull some money. So anyway, that's my quick once over on Speakeasy. As usual, I will continue to cover this on my weekly updates, and we'll see where this thing goes. The last one worked for me. It was a nice profitable investment. Obviously I got in early. If you're gonna get in, I would recommend doing it early. I wanna say this thing launched on Saturday maybe. So it's still really early on. If you're gonna get in, get in. I wouldn't wait until way down the road. First off, the risk for the most part up front is removed because you've already seen protocols from this dev and everything was totally safe. Second off, as you've seen with most other protocols, all the ones that had honest devs anyway, it really was more beneficial to get in early. So that's it for now. I will be enjoying my 1.95% in drinks tokens, and I hope that drinks token price continues to increase in value because we could make some pretty good money here if that were to happen. Next up, let's quickly jump over to Drip. Currently 20 cents. I'm getting closer and closer to max out wallet on this bad boy as far as like actually totally claiming out. I've got several other wallets below it, so I'm just riding the wave, and Triple D should come out soon. I expect that we'll see it this week, but I'm definitely not sure. Wolf Capital. So Wolf Capital's had a lot of scrutiny lately. They had a bad week of trading. I think the trades they started out this week aren't looking too good either. So a lot of people are, real frustrated by it. I did claim some of my stakes because I had a big chunk of cash in here. I left, $1,117 in here. I wanted to leave a little more, but I didn't have small enough stakes to pull that would leave me, closer to like 1,400, but it is what it is. So I pulled some money. I was okay to take the hit to kind of really help close the gap. It really doesn't bother me because I have ROI from this. As you can see, my total withdrawn is way over what I've deposited. Now I probably didn't get all that back because a good chunk of it went to closing the gap. When I clicked unstake to take some of my money out, it said, hey, you're going to take a 33% hit. And I was like, all right, that's pretty significant, but I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm going to make sure I capture my profit, make sure I'm profitable, that I've made good money on it, and then I'm going to leave 1,000 to 1,500 in or whatever, and I'm just going to let it ride and see what they could do as far as trading. Unfortunately, in between the time that I did that, it said it was going to take 33%. And I actually got my stakes. They had lost more money, increasing that gap to about 40%. So it was a pretty significant difference. It hit an extra 7% on all the money that I was unstaking. So I was pretty frustrated with that because it said 33%. I agreed to that, and then it ended up being much higher. I don't like how that was done, but again, I don't have control over what the devs do. So a lot of people have been asking me my strategy in the chat, in DMs, all over the place, in the comments on my videos. My strategy is this. I'm just gonna leave the remainder that I have in there. I'm going to let it play out, and I'm going to see what they can do as far as trading. If they start being solidly profitable, maybe I take some of those dividends, or maybe I reinvest them and build this back up. But it's all going to come down to what they're posting on their trades. But overall, this was another case that if you got in early, you had a way higher likelihood of ROIing. Originally, they had the 2%, then they dropped it to 1.5, then they dropped it to 1.1, and now they've dropped it to variable, but since they're taking losses, there's been no gains. So if you're in from the beginning, you had the benefit of the 2% and the 1.5%, etc. If you got in later, you were in a tougher spot. So again, none of this is financial advice, but that's the exact reason that I try to get into protocols early. I run the risk of having them not go well, but generally speaking, when they do go well, I can ROI, and then, eventually if things kind of have a downturn like we're seeing now, I've already made my money back and I can let some money coast here. So that's my strategy. It's unfortunate. I hope Trav can turn around the trading. This protocol had a tremendous amount of momentum for a while, and I still think it could have legs, but they're gonna have to get that stuff sorted out, but that's how it goes. All right, next up, let's talk 9 to 5 because there's been a lot of changes here as well. So this variable rate keeps, or the rate, I guess, yeah, it's variable, keeps getting dropped. So now we're down to 0.3% a day, right? That's 5 days a week. So we're talking about 1.5% per week. So much lower, much more conservative. It sounds like that's what they needed to do to make it zero Ponzi. So it's a little bit frustrating because it just continued to drop to a rate that's really low. It's of course way higher than you would see in traditional markets, but so far the contract has obviously been really safe. I just have a really long way to go to earn that. And at $11 a day or whatever it's going to be, it's going to take me quite a while to be able to recoup another $3,000. So we're going to see what happens here. I know only part of the capital has actually been getting traded. I told them, hey, why don't you throw that over into Foodtopian, which of course is a shameless plug. That is our protocol. And if there's additional capital that's just kind of sitting there, they can invest that over here into like the 1.5% weekly being, by B&B hot dog NFT. This is backed, of course, by our external business, which this week we are now serving food, and the profits that come in from that cover, everything we need here. So if there's additional capital that's just sitting there and you're only going to pay out 1.5% weekly, then I would just recommend doing that. So you've got some that are trading, that's of course going to be higher risk, but could be a much higher return. And then if there's some additional capital that's just chilling, I would throw it in there, earn some B&B, and just put the money to work. But that's just my 2 cents. So what is my strategy here? At this point, I don't think I have a choice but to just continue to claim. So I'm going to keep claiming. I'm going to try to get more of my profits back, get a little closer to a percentage of ROI that I'm more comfortable with. Maybe if I can get to at least 50% or something like that, I'll let the rest play out. But that's definitely something that I want to do, especially with the amount it's going to make me per week. So since that amount's lower, it's going to take a while to get there. I'm just going to claim for a while and then I'll decide what to do. I can continue to compound and grow this. But like I said, the $3,000 gap isn't making me too comfortable right now. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a more aggressive claim strategy on. I'm probably going to claim for the next couple weeks straight. And then I'll consider doing like something more aggressive, like a 5 claim. I guess it doesn't make sense to do it that way. Maybe like a 4 and 1. Because obviously you're only getting profits 5 days a week, so maybe like a 4 and 1 strategy or something like that. So I'll compound on Monday, claim Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, something like that. But anyway, I'll continue to develop this strategy, but as things change. So it is what it is. Next up, green figures. All right, green figures, total invested 980. They're about to hit the milli mark, which is awesome. This is a zero Ponzi Dapp, and so far I have absolutely zero problems with it. Not that it'll be perfect forever, but right now it is perfect. So you can see the variable rates. This 10.3 was a killer week. So if you got in early, again, super beneficial because you had a couple really good weeks in there. A down week, a couple of up weeks, a down week. They're still making money. 3.43% still isn't too bad. I want to say it was like 4.91 last week. It doesn't look like it's actually updated here, but I made some pretty good money. I made over 200 bucks. So, on the 5,000 I have deposited. So I'm just going to continue to let this ride out. I don't think I'm going to put any more money in yet. I don't know, 5,000 is just kind of what I'm comfortable with. So I'm just going to keep rocking with that. And this should, continue to make me 200 to maybe 300 bucks if they have some great weeks or whatever, some better weeks, more like this. Could be 400 or so. If we get a 10.3 week, it would be over 500 bucks. So that would be awesome. So not much to talk about here, but overall, it's just working exactly like it was planned. They're making really good money trading, so they're doing a good job. The protocol is zero Ponzi. The team is rock solid, like I've mentioned, George being heavily involved and pulling the strings behind the scenes. I still would like to get an AMA with him. We're just gonna have to try to figure out a time that works for both of us. But anyway, green figures, pretty much perfect right now. Next, let's go to BUSD Banknodes. Bank Vault obviously crashed. I think we've all kind of talked about it. It basically did exactly what TrueFund did. And that is, once people got to a specific percentage of ROI, some people started to unstake they use the emergency unstake function and take back their 50%. As soon as some people saw people doing that and the contract balance started to drop, everyone started doing that. And there's basically a bank run within 2 hours. It basically drained, the entirety of the contract balance. So not a rug pull. I know some people are saying it's a rug. Listen, I've said a bunch of times, but this stuff for the most part really isn't passive. You do have to be paying attention to the chats. You can't come back a week later and go, hey, where's my investment? A lot of stuff can happen in between then. So you do need to keep a pulse on it. For me, I got burned on it. A lot of people in the chats were like, hey, I'm emergency unstaking. Scott, I would highly recommend that you do too. It just happened to land in a period where I left my computer, I went up, I had a sick kid, I had to just cook him some food, do the whole dinner routine. And by the time I got back, I was probably like 30 minutes late. Otherwise I could have cashed out and made money on this one. So since we've seen that twice now, I think the emergency unstake function, while it seems nice in the head, it just causes everybody just to run as soon as they get past the break-even point. So a lot of these guys are making, 2% on their investment, maybe up to 5% on their investment, and they're not really making any more than that. But I guess they're okay with that if they're putting in a really big dollar amount or whatever. So from now on, the emergency unstake function, I'm going to proceed with caution on those. I do know that Sniper Fund that comes out tomorrow, and that's by a trusted dev that we know, did Purple Bean version 2, really solid guy. They originally had the emergency unstake function in that. we took a poll and said, hey, remove that, because I think everyone just runs for the exit as soon as they can, as soon as that happens. And if you're not online during that 2 hours, then you could potentially get burnt. So when Sniper launches tomorrow, I'm going to get in right at the bell, and I'm glad that's gone, because I think the emergency unstake function actually hurts more than it helps. People just get freaked out and then they got to pull. So a good amount of TVL dropped off of this one. People are just claiming. I think people are going to continue to claim out. I'm betting that Banknodes doesn't last more than probably like another week. I think after people saw what happened with the last ones, they're not going to continue putting money in. I think the fault of the project, I mean, I'd like to see them actually come back and maybe relaunch these projects, because they actually did really well as far as how much TVL they got. I'd like to see them relaunch them with no emergency unstake function and try to rebalance everything, because they were building out the ecosystem for this. Obviously, as you can see, BUSD Bank Wealth launched the other day. So, several $100,000 in the first one. This one had like 175,000 or so. Let's just see what the total deposit here is. I bet it's pretty much nothing. We'll connect wallet, 10,000. So this one only got $10,000. Again, based on the way everything went, I don't know that I'd recommend getting into this one. Some of the additional boosts you get is like put 2,000 into BUSD Bank Vault. That's obviously incomplete. You can't even do that now. So if you wanted to go back and add to the protocol, you can't do it. And then nodes, I'm not going to put any more money into nodes, obviously. So I don't know that I would recommend going into wealth. This was a really good idea. I just think the emergency unstake function totally burnt the protocol. This one doesn't have it, so what's going to happen is people are just going to continue to withdraw. So again, just fair warning, I bet this one's around for maybe another week. People are going to continue to claim, so just watch it. Again, this stuff isn't passive. Pay attention to your investments. It can be easy money, but you do have to be paying attention. Don't get on 2 weeks later and go to my videos and comment that it was a rug pull and they pulled all the money, when 2 weeks earlier we're in the chats blasted everyone saying use the emergency unstake function or whatever. It's all completely laid out. Nothing nefarious happened here. People are using the contract in the way it was designed, and even though that's sort of like a flaw in my opinion, it is what it is. Next up, let's talk real quickly about Classic Miner. So this one launched at the end of the week. I got in right at the bell. If you're going to get in, I would recommend doing it soon. Operates kind of like a Classic Miner. Obviously, that's why it's named one of the traditional old school miners. Variable ROI rate, mine is currently 3.5%. I've boosted up from what I put in, 0.35 BNB. When you sell profits, it's going to lower your rate, and then you can, once you get down to below 1%, if you compound, it'll give you a 10% boost. So there's a little game of how you want to orchestrate this. Right now, I'm happy just earning this 3.5%. So I'm going to watch this for a minute, and I'm going to continue watching the TVL. 227 BNB over the weekend. That's not bad at all. So just a nice miner, totally safe, done by a team that we trust, got an incredible auto score. So just keep an eye on it. If you're going to get in, I would get in soon, not financial advice. And if you're in it, just watch the profits, play the game right, try to make sure that you end up making money on this one. There's a couple others that I didn't really give updates on, just didn't really have much for it. Like I said, this Sniper Fun one is going to come out tomorrow, launches in 22 hours, 30 minutes. So this would be a good one. They did kill the emergency unstake function and then had the stamp go back and redo the audit just to make sure that was all clean. It got a really good score too, so I am not concerned about this one at all. Should be fun. This one, of course, is in USDT. I'll jump in right at launch. I did mess around and do something for science. I've had a lot of people asking me a bunch of questions about bigwhale.io, and it's a little bit late, at least later than I normally like to get in these projects, like to get in right in the beginning. So I just threw a little bit in and I've been playing with it or whatever. So I'm probably going to do a video on it because a lot of people have been asking me questions about it and I just don't know about it. So while we wait for Triple D to come out, I do have a video like that planned this week. I got a bunch of videos planned for this week. So well, I only created one last week. I'm going to hit a bunch this week. And I think one will be that bigwhale.io. Of course, I'll hit Sniper Fun tomorrow right at launch. I'm hoping that we get Triple D this week so I can launch some good content on Triple D. But that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think. Jump into Speakeasy if that's your thing. Jump into Sniper Fun tomorrow if you're interested in that one. If you're going to get into Classic Miner, I would recommend doing it sooner than later. It does have some tokenomics that make it to where You don't have to get in on day one like you normally do with minors, but I would still recommend getting in early because you guys have seen how it plays out if you get into things late. But anyway, that's it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Smash the like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and happy investing.